John, a 10-year-old boy attending a primary school, struggled with reading. He often stumbled over words, and his classmates would tease him. One day, during reading class, John was called upon to read aloud from a storybook. As he read, he felt his classmates' eyes on him, and their snickers and whispers made him feel even more embarrassed. His voice trembled, and he felt his face flush with shame. Finally, unable to bear the taunting any longer, John burst into tears. The class fell silent as Mrs. Roberts rushed over to John's desk. She wrapped her hands around him and comforted him with a soft, reassuring voice. "John, it's okay," she said. "We all struggle sometimes. Reading is a skill that takes practice, just like any other. You should never feel ashamed for trying. You are so much more than your reading ability." John's tears subsided and he nodded, wiping his eyes. "I'll try harder, Mrs. Roberts," he whispered. Inspired by Mrs. Roberts' words, John began to practice reading more diligently. He read every day, whether it was during class, at home, or during his free time. He even asked his parents for help with reading and comprehension. Slowly but surely, John began to improve. He started to understand more of what he was reading, and his classmates noticed. Instead of teasing him, they started to praise him for his efforts. Before long, John was reading at the same level as his classmates. One day, during reading class, Mrs. Roberts smiled when she called on John to read aloud from the class book. He stood confidently at the front of the class and began to read the passage. His voice clear and strong. As he read, his classmates listened intently, showing no signs of teasing or ridicule. When John had finished reading, the class erupted in a round of applause. Mrs. Roberts beamed with pride, and John couldn't help but grin. He had done it. He had faced his struggles head on and overcome them.